There's a moment in every life, a moment where you either rise or retreat, where you either claim your birthright or surrender it to fear. And most people, they don't even realize that moment came and went, because it doesn't arrive with sirens or banners. It whispers. It looks like an opportunity cloaked in uncertainty, a door without a welcome sign, a calling that demands courage without giving comfort. And in that moment, you will either say, "I don't know if I'm ready," or you will say, "Ready or not, I'm going." Because that's the difference. That's the divide. Winners never wait for permission. They move while others hesitate. They act while others ask. They build while others beg for approval. You see, this world has trained you since the moment you could walk to seek validation, to raise your hand before you speak, to wait for the green light, to ask, "Is this okay?" And if you don't break that programming, you'll spend your whole life living someone else's script. But the greats, the legends, the builders, the revolutionaries, they rewrote the rules. They didn't wait for the door to open. They kicked it off the hinges. Thomas Edison wasn't licensed to invent light. Carnegie didn't seek permission to dominate steel. Rosa Parks didn't wait for approval to sit down. Martin Luther King didn't ask, "Is it okay if I dream?" They just did it. Because they understood something most people never grasp. History does not remember the polite. It remembers the bold. And boldness doesn't mean recklessness. It means certainty. It means you know your mission so well you'd rather be rejected for it than accepted for a lie. You see, waiting is the enemy of greatness. The longer you wait, the more doubts take root, the more opinions shape your vision, the more permission becomes your prison. And here's the truth. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to crown you. No one is going to tap you on the shoulder and say, "You're chosen, go now." You choose yourself, you crown yourself, you grant your own authority, because the only permission you need is the decision to begin. Look around. Every structure, every system, every story you admire was built by someone no smarter than you. But they moved. They didn't need a panel of experts. They didn't need everyone to believe. They believed for themselves, and that was enough. Because belief is not about confidence. It's about commitment. It's about saying, "I will build this mountain brick by brick, even if no one sees it but me." That's how legends are made. Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination. He didn't argue. He just created a kingdom. Oprah was told she wasn't fit for TV. She didn't protest. She built an empire. Colonel Sanders was rejected over 1,000 times before someone believed in his recipe. But here's the thing. He believed first. That's what the world doesn't teach you. That success is not about waiting for others to believe. It's about becoming so certain, so aligned, so possessed by your vision that reality eventually bends to match it. That kind of clarity, it's not found. It's forged. Forged in the fire of daily action. Forged in the silence when no one claps. Forged in the moments where you must remind yourself, "I don't need a yes from the world. I am the yes." This is why the rarest kind of human is the one who moves without applause, who builds without consensus, who creates before the demand. Because most people need proof before they act. Winners act to create the proof. They understand that every invention starts as an interruption. Every breakthrough is first seen as a breakdown. Every truth teller is first dismissed as dangerous. But they keep going. They know the vision wasn't given to the crowd, it was given to them. And so they act, not loudly, not recklessly, but with resolve. Because resolve changes everything. When you move with resolve, doors appear where walls once stood. When you move with resolve, resistance becomes refinement. When you move with resolve, the universe responds, not because you begged, but because you built. This is what the gatekeepers don't want you to know. That you don't need them. You don't need permission to be great. You don't need permission to build. You don't need permission to evolve. You just need to decide. Because clarity kills hesitation. And when you're clear, you're dangerous. You stop asking small minds to understand big visions. You stop explaining your steps to people who've never walked your path. You stop waiting, and that's when momentum begins. Let's talk about discipline. Because discipline is how you prove you've given yourself permission. Not once, but daily. Every morning you rise before the excuses. Every night you push one more rep, one more call, one more idea into motion. Not for applause, not for likes. But because you know, every brick laid in silence becomes a monument in time. The world may not see it yet, but you do, and that's all that matters. Discipline is not about willpower, it's about identity. You move because it's who you are. You show up because you're no longer negotiating with laziness. You're no longer debating your dream. You've already decided, and now the rest is just execution. Let them doubt you. Let them mock. Let them roll their eyes while you roll your sleeves. Because when the harvest comes, you won't need to say a word. Your life will speak. Your work will roar. And the same people who dismissed you will ask, "How did you do it?" And you'll smile. Not out of pride, but because you know you didn't wait for the world to validate you. You became the validation. That's what separates dreamers from builders. Dreamers hope someone will open a door. Builders make their own blueprints. They take the tools they have and start. And if they break, they rebuild. And if they fall, they rise again. Because failure is not a stop sign, it's a signal. A signal that you're trying something real, something that matters. And the more you try, the more resistance you face, the more you realize this is not a detour, it's the path. Every setback, every delay, every detour, it's data. It's sharpening you, preparing you, burning off the weakness that can't carry your next level. But most people don't see that. They quit when it gets hard. They pause when it gets lonely. They wait for someone to say it's okay to keep going. But you're not most people. You're not built for average. You're not built to shrink. You were born to rise, and rising requires decision. The decision to move without clarity, to build without applause, to speak without echo, to say, "I don't need the world's green light. I am the light." Because true power is silent. It doesn't ask, it acts. And when the world sees the result, it listens. So what does this mean for you? It means you stop waiting, stop asking, stop hoping someone hands you the life you want. It means you start becoming the kind of person who earns it, who commands it, who creates it, from nothing, with nothing but a decision to no longer live by default, a decision to no longer fit into boxes built by other people's fears, a decision to build something so real, so bold, so you that the world can't ignore it. This is your moment. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. Because someday is a myth, and permission is an illusion. You don't need credentials, you don't need applause, you don't need the stars to align. You are the star, you are the spark, you are the permission. So rise, move, build. Not with arrogance, but with alignment. Not with noise, but with knowing. Because when you know who you are, when you know why you're here, when you know what you were made to build, the world steps aside. Not because you waited, but because you moved without waiting, and in that movement you became undeniable. So the next time doubt creeps in, the next time the world tells you to slow down, to wait, to ask first, remember this. Winners don't wait for permission. They decide, they declare, they do. And in doing, they change everything. And so now, here in the precipice between hesitation and movement, clarity and confusion, you have arrived at a sacred truth that only the bold get to embody. You are allowed to begin before you're prepared. Because preparation is often the trap. You believe you need credentials, a teacher, the perfect environment, when in truth, possibility is the environment, and your will is the credential. It was never about being chosen, it was always about choosing yourself. In the silence of your determination, your purpose was waiting. In the stillness before your first step, your destiny was calling. All it needed was for you to do something. A thought, a plan, a breath pulled deep into your belly, a foot placed forward in faith. That's all you need to begin. You don't need clarity to get started. Clarity arrives with progress, with momentum, with evidence. But movement, even imperfect movement, signals to the universe, I have decided. And when you decide, you align time, people, resources toward your cause. Because alignment, true alignment, is not passive. It's not hoping the puzzle fits you. It's rearranging so everything fits around who you're becoming. Listen closely. Vision without execution is vanity. Execution without vision is aimless. But when vision and execution collide, you become inevitable. And inevitability changes the conversation. It doesn't demand attention. It doesn't need explanation. It simply presents results that cannot be disputed. This is why you see the quiet ones finishing strong. Why you weren't meant to be the loudest, but the first across the finish line. Why your greatest triumph will feel silent when it arrives, because it was earned in silence. I want you to feel that. Feel the weight of your conviction. Feel the resonance of your vision. Feel the fire inside you when doubt shows its face. Not today. Whenever uncertainty rises, whenever comparison creeps, whenever yesterday whispers that you're not enough, say out loud, not today. I am moving, I am becoming, I am building, and you will find strength you never knew you had, because your conviction is not built on confidence, it's built on constancy, on repetition, on showing up again and again. That's why character matters more than charisma, because charisma fades, but character endures. It endures when the lights go off. It endures when no one's looking. It endures when no one cares, not because you demand it, but because you're compelled by something deeper. A purpose too powerful to be ignored. A purpose that doesn't need your approval, it needs your proof. Proof in the actions you take, proof in the principles you live by, proof in the structure you build around your life day by day. And structure isn't weakness, it's your sanctuary. Your sanctuary from distraction, your sanctuary from decay, your sanctuary from doubt. Because if your environment aligns with your vision, your habits will follow, your discipline will follow, your success will follow. But alignment doesn't happen by itself. You must choose it, design it, defend it, decide who you become at 4 a.m., who you become at 9 p.m. Defend your standards as though they're sacred, even when no one's watching, because that is where freedom is forged. Not in the applause, not in the certificate, but in the life that flows from your internal signature. Your standards are your self-portrait. Paint it with precision, paint it with pride, and then guard it like your life depends on it, because it does. Because the world is not designed to uplift you, it will teach you to play small. It will train you to tolerate mediocrity, to trade your purpose for popularity, to barter your brilliance for belonging. But you are here to lead, to break the mold, to reset the bar. You are here to roar in the room of quiet achievers, to stand solid while the grounds shift beneath those who chase applause. Pause if you must. Reflect if you must, plan if you must, but do not pause your purpose. Because purpose is not time-bound. It is limitless. It is not measured in likes, it is measured in legacy. Every life you touch, every mind you shift, every system you disrupt simply by becoming who they taught you couldn't be. This is your gift. Not to yourself, but to the world. You weren't born to fit in. You were born to stand out. And standing out is a lonely road. But it is the only road that leads to the mountain you were meant to climb. So you climb, even when it's steep, even when it's painful, even when you have to bite back tears in silence, because you know you're not just climbing for you. You're climbing for every voice screaming in the dark. You're bargaining for a blueprint others can follow. You're lighting a path they can walk. And that's why permission doesn't matter. Because you are permission. You are licensed by your conviction. You are certified by your consistency. You are appointed by your unshakable decision. Will you go back? Will you regress? Will you retract? Or will you rise? This moment demands a choice. Not someday, not when it's convenient, not when conditions are perfect. Now, choose, build, begin again. Because when you move, even in brokenness, even in doubt, even in fatigue, you set the world around you in motion. You create waves, you shift perspectives, you spark revolutions. You become the living proof that silence is not weakness, it is strength. And that's how you win. Not by waiting for permission, but by being permission. You are the signal in the noise, the fire in the forge, the builder at dawn. Step forward, the world is waiting.